So today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here in the little village of Marske, or if you're a northerner like me, you would call it Mask. And I'm here to look at this lovely little 2-manual tracker action organ. I'm saying it's lovely. I've never even seen it before or played it before, but what a stunning area. It's absolutely lovely, and I'm really keen to see this organ. From what I can gather, it's quite a small organ. Doesn't have an awful lot to it, but let's go in and have a look. The Church of St Edmund, Marske. What a lovely little church with those box pews. I wonder if I can find some lights. Follow me around. I was told that they're probably up here. Bingo. So yeah, a lovely church. Right in the heart of the Yorkshire Dales. Oh, look at all that food. I believe that's for the walkers who do the coast to coast. So I better not indulge. Again, these lovely box pews, and look at that stained glass window. How nice. And the organ is behind me, I believe. Up there in the gallery. So let's see if we can find our way up there. Shut this door because it is freezing cold. And this looks like the stairs on the way up. Let's see the back of the organ here. And side pipes. And that's the back of the swell box, but it's been left shut. Dear me. You can see some of the pipe work in there. There's pipe work to the sides as well. And look at that view along the church. It's a lovely, lovely view. Ideal for the organist to sit and see what's going on and to hide his biscuits. So this organ lives in the gallery at the west end of the church, facing right down to the altar and overlooking, well, the entire church. It used to be downstairs by the front door, I'm told, but it was in 1980 when this organ was restored by H.E. Prested, was moved up here into the gallery. It does seem like a much better place for it, certainly acoustically. But that's where it lives today. As I've already mentioned, this is a tracker action organ. Apparently it was built in about 1920, thereabouts, by Nelson Co. I had to think about that. But it was restored in 1980, or at least overhauled by H.E. Prested. I don't know what it sounds like. We're going to have a go now. There's very, very few stops on here. Firstly, just to say that it is a straight pedal board. It has a balanced swell pedal. It looks to me like this organ is all enclosed. I'm not sure though until I try it properly. But again, let's have a look, and we're going to start here on the grate, which is the bottom manual. Let's have a go. So I've just tried the stops on this organ, and it does appear that the entire organ is enclosed. Obviously not these front pipes, they do seem to be speaking pipes. Unfortunately, the swell shutters are right at the back facing the wall, which is certainly going to hamper the volume. But nothing we can do about that. That's just the way it's designed, that's the way it's positioned. But we're going to start on the grate. The very first, or the bottom stop, is an 8-foot stopped diapason, which sounds like this. And I think all these stops stop at tenor C. The remainder of the octave is used, you would use the pedals, but again we'll find that out shortly. So that was the stopped diapason. Next we have an open diapason, 8-foot. What's this like for volume? Sounds okay, it's not super powerful by any means. I expect though that the positioning of the organ, it really helps the sound to travel, so let's not knock it. And again, sorry, it does seem to be enclosed. So this swell pedal that I described isn't dedicated just to the swell, it is the entire organ. And the final stop on the grate is a 4-foot principal. And actually that does go right the way down to bottom C. Sounds out of tune. So that's all the stops on the grate, that's all there is, and again, I'll say it again, they are all enclosed. Also, while we're here on the right, there is a stop. It is a 16-foot Borden. Just checking where that's coming from. Right, so it is actually as I suspected, it is the bottom octave of the grate. I'm not sure that's yeah, and the pedals are automatically connected to the manuals. And there's nothing beyond that, it is just the bottom octave of the pedals. There isn't a coupler, so they are automatically coupled to the manuals. So just to recap, there's a 16-foot Borden, which I've just explained, the stopped diapason 8, the open diapason 8, and a 4-foot principal. Let's try something on the grate. Not loads of power, but let's try something. Let's have a go. So it's quite a flat tone. It's not very bright. It's not very powerful. But for a church of this size, I think it's probably very, very adequate. And bearing in mind it hasn't been tuned for a couple of years, it sounds pretty in tune to me. But let's move on to the swell, which is here on the left, and obviously the manual is at the top. Let's have a go. So getting on the swell, I'm going to start right at the very bottom, and there is the one coupler, that is the swell to grate, which you can see from the keys moving. Seems to work, so that's good. The first speaking stop on the swell is a Vox Angelica on its own. That does seem to go down to B. Oh no. Yeah, it just seems to go down to B, and that's about as far as it seems to go. Oh no, bottom C as well. Must just be notes off. Sounds like they're the front pipes actually. Next we have a string. It is an 8-foot gamba. Again, stops at tenor C. And finally on the swell we have a flute. It's a 4-foot. It's quite nice. So that 4-foot also goes right the way down to bottom C. Unfortunately the bottom C on that particular stop doesn't work. Something I did forget to try was the Vox Angelica and the gamba, to see if we get that beat that we sometimes get. Let's see. Yeah, we do. Probably the nicest tone on this organ, with that lovely beat. Sorry, it's cold. Let's try something on the swell, see what it sounds like. Adding that extra octave just adds a little bit of brightness. Still not very much power at all, and certainly I can tell by playing that the bourdon is connected all the time. I'm not really sure why that stops there, other than I suppose it's an indication that there is something there. I don't know, maybe you can tell me in the comments, but it's a canny little organ. But let's try something on the full organ. I don't think it's going to be much louder, but let's have a go, see what it sounds like. It's a nice little organ, considering it hasn't been tuned for 2 years. It's in pretty good nick, a couple of notes off here and there, but a very nice little organ. This will be a lovely house organ. Perhaps at one point it was a house organ, I'm not sure, but certainly for a church of this size, it is. It's all right. It's as David will say, it's not a recital organ. It doesn't claim to be, but it's a nice little organ and it works, and it's in pretty good tune. It's reliable, and one of the reasons I started doing this channel was to expose, for want of a better word, some of these hidden organs that still exist in these country churches and some of the larger churches that you haven't heard of. And it's quite heartwarming for me to see that organs like this still exist, with reliable and dedicated organists who keep these churches going and keep the music alive. So I hope you get something from small organs like this, as I do. But I'm going to leave this video there. Hope you've enjoyed this slightly different organ in this beautiful church in beautiful surroundings. Again, thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, I'd be so grateful if you would hit that subscribe button. That really helps promote the videos. But until next time, I shall see you later. Bye for now.